George Santos is a now notorious Republican lawmaker, maligned by Democrats, even by some members of his own party, for a life story just a bit too good to be true.
Who is George Santos?
George Santos, to me, is a bunch of lies.
Lying about where he went to school, lying about where he worked, lying about being Jewish, lying about his athletic accomplishments.
One after another, journalists started poking holes in Santos's past. It wasn't long before he admitted that huge portions of his story were, in fact, entirely made up.
Congressman-elect now admits he did lie on his resume and about his background.
I'm not going to make excuses for this, but a lot of people overstate in their resumes or twist a little bit or ingratiate themselves.
Then came much more serious allegations.
George Santos is back in D.C. tonight after refusing to resign amid federal charges.
He is charged on a 13-count indictment, according to those court documents.
And now, 10 more.
Federal prosecutors on Long Island have filed new criminal charges against Congressman George Santos. A 23-count superseding indictment.
Superseding meaning the updated version includes all those previous charges plus 10 new ones.
This case has become increasingly more difficult for Santos to both defend and have to deal with as he's sitting as a member of our legislature.
So here are the basics. Federal prosecutors are charging Santos with wire fraud, conspiracy, making false statements, falsification of records, aggravated identity theft, and credit card fraud. What we learned from this latest indictment are details on two particular schemes prosecutors say Santos was involved in. One involving credit card fraud, and one that saw him lie about just how much his campaign had fundraised. So let's break those down. According to the indictment, Santos stole from his own donors by extracting even more money out of them after they had already donated. Prosecutors say he'd used their credit card information, racking up even more charges to fund his campaign. Like in December of 2021, one contributor's card was charged several times without authorization, adding up to nearly $16,000 US. Additionally, that card was used to transfer another $11,000 to Santos's personal bank account. Again, according to the indictment, without that person's knowledge. And prosecutors allege this happened multiple times to multiple people, which brings us to the next piece. The other new charge here has to do with lying about campaign money. It's alleged Santos greatly inflated how much money his campaign had actually raised, because raising lots of money shows the party that you're a serious candidate, which in turn unlocks even more money from the party. So he claimed to raise upwards of $800,000, which includes fake donations he attributed to family members, even a bogus $500,000 loan from himself to his campaign, which the indictment says never actually happened.
At the core of the allegations is that Santos was faking loans to his campaign to try and entice donors to be a part of his campaign, to donate money.
I have nothing to talk about. I need to take a look at the whole thing.
Did you commit wire fraud, though? It's a pretty basic question.
The indictment alleging that Santos falsely reported donating his campaign $500,000 when he only had $8,000 on hand.
And he isn't accused of acting alone.
The former treasurer to embattle Congressman George Santos became the first to fall from his camp.
Last week, Nancy Marks pleaded guilty to conspiring with Santos, admitting her role in falsifying Santos's loan and those donations.
Nancy Marks' cooperation certainly bolsters the case that the government has presented. Look, during the course of a trial, jurors are always looking for corroboration of things that are just stated in an indictment.
You're all acting like I'm not entitled to due process and innocent until proven guilty.
Your next step.
I'm nothing. I mean, I'm just going to go defend myself.
The charges against Santos go on. Everything from spending campaign money on designer clothes to claiming unemployment benefits while he had a job to flat out lying to Congress. But Santos is defiant.
I have a court date on October 27, and then there's probably going to be something else scheduled for that. I am entitled to due process. I'm going to go defend myself.
He says he has no intention of pleading guilty, no intention of settling out of court, and when reporters asked if he would step down following these new charges, he said, "I will not." In fact, he's still planning to run again in 2024. Now, some members of his own party want to see him kicked out.
After the latest indictment, I think it's clear that he's not fit to serve in the House of Representatives. He's a stain on the institution.
But here's the thing. Republicans have a razor-thin majority in the House.
I mean, if anything, George Santos is at the height of his power in this Congress.
Accordingly, his vote counts for a lot, which means George Santos may not be going anywhere anytime soon.